Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Black Liberation Tech podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Renee Jordan, and today we are going to pick up where we left off with the Janiyah GPT Workshop. Once again, you go to the Black Liberation Tech website, which is available in both English and Spanish, and go over to Janiyah GPT in the menu bar and select Intro Workshop. Now, last week I left off at the facilitator demo prompts, and we covered bias awareness and verification and limits prompt. So if you are a facilitator of an AI literacy workshop, you're more than welcome to use these prompts as examples and edit them so that they fit your audience. Okay, now let's take a look at this second portion of the facilitator demo prompts. And it's titled AI is Not Magic Demo. Okay, so what we're going to do, step one, ask Janiyah the same career question twice. So the first prompt is going to be vague. And it says, "Hi, Janiyah. I like biology, technology, and art. Would you please tell me about 2 jobs that might be a match for me?" Okay, so I'm going to copy this, go over to Janiyah. I still have the conversation up from last week. So I'm going to tell her thank you first. Okay, so just to get you updated as far as how I'm starting off the conversation. So I said, "Thank you, Janiyah. I appreciate your insight and transparency. I will save your recommendations for another time. Next, I want to switch gears and talk about something else. Janiyah, I like biology, technology, and art. Would you please tell me about 2 jobs that might be a match for me?" Okay, I like where she's going with this. I'm going to once again copy this over to my handy dandy Word document so that I can save this good insight for later. All right, now let's give it a read. I love this combination already. Biology, technology, and art. That's not random. That's interdisciplinary power. When you like all 3, it tells me you're curious about life systems, you're comfortable with tools and innovation, you think visually and creatively. That's a strong foundation. Let me introduce you to 2 careers that blend all 3 in meaningful ways. Biomedical Illustrator. All right. Scientific and Medical Illustrator is another name. Okay, what they do. Biomedical illustrators turn complex biological information into clear, visually compelling images. They create anatomy diagrams, surgical illustrations, 3D medical animations, cell and molecular visualizations, textbook graphics, as well as public health infographics. This is where biology plus art plus technology meet beautifully. Why it matches you. If you love understanding how the body works, enjoy drawing or digital art, like explaining complex ideas clearly, or you want science to be accessible, this could feel aligned. Education pathways. These are the different ways of getting to that position. So, bachelor's in biology, illustration, or related field. Some pursue specialized master's programs in biomedical illustration, strong digital portfolio, so Adobe, 3D tools, animation software. You don't have to choose between science and creativity here. You become a translator between them. Liberation Lens. This role helps communities understand health information clearly, especially important for culturally responsive healthcare communities. All right, so let's move on to the next suggestion as far as a career option. Number 2, UX researcher or designer in health or biotech. What they do, okay? UX, user experience, professionals design technology that people actually use and understand. In health or biotech spaces, they might design apps that track health conditions, improve patient portals, create biotech lab interfaces, make medical devices easier to use, or conduct research with users to improve accessibility. Why it matches you. This career blends biology knowledge, so understanding health systems, technology, art, or design thinking. If you enjoy observing how people interact with tools, improving systems, solving real world problems, or designing with empathy, this could fit. So let's take a look at the different pathways she suggests. Pathways: biology or health sciences plus UX bootcamp, human computer interaction degree, psychology plus design plus tech certifications, or portfolio of case studies. You don't need to be a hardcore coder. UX is about thinking, research, and design. And we've seen models of this pathway in narratives like Nicole Bakula Garcia's Transition into UX Research, blending research, design, and community impact. Now, Nicole Bakula Garcia, once again, is one of the main characters from the BlackLiberation.tech website. And so her story is embedded in Janiyah. So when she's referring to options, it's because she has a story that goes along with it as a result of the website. And once again, Nicole Bakula Garcia is brought into BlackLiberation.tech as a result of those who contributed to my research with my dissertation. Okay, so next, let's go into reflect mode. Before we go further, I want to ask you, when you say you like biology, is it the body, plants, ecosystems, or genetics? When you say technology, do you like coding, apps, robotics, digital tools? When you say art, are we talking drawing, digital design, animation, photography? The details matter because biology plus technology plus art could also lead to medical animation, bioinformatics, data visualization, environmental data artists, game design for science education, prosthetic design, or sustainable product design. Liberation question: how do you want your work to serve people? So, education, healthcare equity, environmental justice, creative storytelling, or innovation. Your career doesn't just match your interests, it should match your values. If you'd like, I can create a mini career blueprint for you, compare salary ranges plus training time, suggest high school or college majors, help design a small project to test one of these fields. You don't have to shrink yourself to fit one category: biology, technology, and art. That's future facing. Okay, so what she's done here in this last section is really good. So instead of just giving you the two options, she's asking for more context based on who you are as an individual so that the next response will have more detail. And what I'm going to do, because the next prompt is actually one that provides more detail and context, as you can see, detail and contextualize. So I'm going to copy this prompt, and before pasting it, I'm going to say, thank you, Janiyah. I appreciate you for going into reflective mode to help me think this through at a deeper level. And now I'm going to paste. Okay. So once again, I'll just read through the whole prompt. So thank you, Janiyah. I appreciate you for going into reflective mode to help me think this through at a deeper level. Janiyah, I'm especially interested in human anatomy and physiology, using AI to enhance imagery in my storytelling, and Afro-Futurism. Would you please suggest two emerging careers where people use these skills to support their communities through grassroots movements? Okay. And so, as you can see, I provided more detail about the type of biology. I provided more detail about the technology, and I also provided more detail about the art. Now, in addition to that, the liberation question: how do you want to work to serve people? I have in this prompt two. Would you please suggest two emerging careers where people use these skills to support their communities through grassroots movements? So this will be interesting. Let's take a look. This is my first time running these prompts. I want to make sure they work before I go and do them in real life in IRL. So let's find out together. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and copy what she has here and paste and save the response. Okay, so let's take a look and see what Janiyah had to say. Oh, now we're building something powerful. Human Anatomy and Physiology plus AI enhanced imagery plus Afro-Futurism plus grassroots movements. That's not just a career interest. That's cultural architecture. Let me offer you two emerging careers that sit right at the intersection and center community uplift. Number one, community health tech story architect, Afrofuturist health media designer. Okay, what this role looks like. This is an emerging hybrid role at the intersection of health education, AI assisted visual storytelling, Afrofuturist creative design, and community based public health. You might create AI enhanced anatomical visuals showing Black and Brown bodies accurately and beautifully, develop culturally responsive health campaigns, design immersive AR, VR anatomy storytelling experiences, build grassroots digital health toolkits, or partner with community organizers to explain chronic illness, reproductive health, or environmental health impacts. Why this is powerful. I just want to call this out. I don't know what's going on in this picture, and I'm going to keep going. I just don't know what's happening. Okay, why is this powerful? Historically, medical imagery has centered white bodies. Afrofuturism reclaims the narrative. You could reimagine anatomy through a culturally affirming lens, use AI to enhance clarity and accessibility, fight medical misinformation, or support grassroots health literacy movements. This is liberation through science visualization. Let's take a look at what you could do in the community. Community impact. Grassroots applications may include partnering with local clinics, supporting Black maternal health initiatives, creating visuals for community health workshops, collaborating with faith-based organizations, or designing digital campaigns for environmental justice groups. You're not just making art, you're reshaping who gets to be seen in science. All right, number two, Afro-Futurist Biodata Visualizer. That's a mouthful. Let's take a look at this role. What this role looks like. This career blends human physiology, environmental health science, AI data visualization, and artistic activism. You might translate environmental toxin data into Afrofuturist visual narratives, show how pollution impacts Black bodies through AI enhanced anatomy overlays, create interactive maps connecting zip codes to asthma rates, develop immersive exhibits on climate and health equalities, or collaborate with grassroots environmental justice movements. Why it's emerging. We are seeing growth in data justice movements, community owned data storytelling, participatory research, and AI generated educational visualizations. But most data visualizations are sterile and disconnected. You would bring cultural imagination, psychological knowledge, ethical AI awareness, and artistic resistance. That's rare, that's needed. Liberation lens. Both of these careers center Black bodies as worthy of accurate representation, use AI as a tool, not a master, align with Ubuntu, I am because we are, and support grassroots movements rather than corporate only agendas. You're not just entering a job, you're shaping narrative infrastructure, reflective mode. Let's go deeper. I want to ask you three grounding questions. And so this is where you can answer her questions and go a little further along your exploration. When you think about human anatomy, are you most drawn to reproductive health, neurology, musculoskeletal systems, chronic diseases, or trauma and healing? When you imagine Afrofuturism, do you see visual art, film, interactive digital experiences, wearable tech, or museum installations? And number three, are you most energized by teaching, designing, researching, organizing, or policy influence? Your answer would help refine this even further. Ethical reminder, because you're working with AI plus bodies, When using AI to enhance imagery, protect community data, avoid over medicalizing Black bodies, verify scientific accuracy, and disclose AI use transparently. Liberation plus precision go together. Okay, and then she has some suggestions. If you like, next we can map out a 5 year pathway, identify undergraduate majors and graduate programs, design a simple grassroots project portfolio piece, or create an Afro-futurist anatomy storytelling concept together. You're not just career exploring, you're imagining futures where bodies are honored, visualized accurately, and protected. That's visionary work. Okay, so that was her response. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push pause here and we'll come back next week for the rest. So, with all that being said, thank you for listening to another episode of the Black Liberation Tech podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Renee Jordan. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and share, rate, and review the podcast to help it become more discoverable. And until next time, take care. Bye bye.